Following last night's action, the Gold Cup group stage is over. This is Morning Kick Round's long ball number one here today. Gold Cup quarterfinal matchups are set for the weekend, and there's some interesting ones along the way. Obviously, headlined USA versus Costa Rica on Sunday, but also in the mix, Canada versus Guatemala, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, and Panama, Honduras.
Yeah, this is, look, obviously I'm focused on the U.S. challenge against Costa Rica on Saturday, just to cross-pollinate. I'll be on Sirius XMFC with the pregame and a postgame show for that game. The Gold Cup is usually fairly predictable. I do think because of the U.S. struggle in the Nations League, there's at least a sense that it might not go the Americans' way. I mean, Costa Rica is not going to be pushovers, right? They looked really good against Mexico despite not scoring and beating L3. Canada gets a pretty soft draw or a soft matchup here with Guatemala. You've got Mexico getting Saudi Arabia, who I think is going to make it tough on Mexico to score goals. But I do expect Mexico, maybe 1-0, 89th minute penalty. What do you think? That sound about right for Mexico? That's always usually how it goes down.
I was going to say, that sounds like a familiar storyline. You got the beats of the narrative there, Jason.
I expect Panama to handle Honduras. Honduras is not very good. So, what we're hoping for, I think, is the same Final Four we had in the Nations League, right? The same Final Four.
I mean, that's one of the things about Concacaf, right? There's only so many teams that are competitive to win these sort of championships. Canada's in the mix. They are a past winner, but it's been over 2 decades since they've won it. Because I was going to ask, do you think it's possible that there's a new winner for Gold Cup 2025?
No, well, okay. My gut is that it's look, and I'll bring this in from Nate. He's an MK Ultra. My brain side, as opposed to your butt side, my brain side is telling me Costa Rica is the end of the line for this U.S. team. That's very possible. It's very possible. It's not how this usually goes historically. I don't think I'm quite there with my brain side with Nate, but it's not like I don't see it as possible. So I think the United States probably squeaks by Costa Rica. Canada takes care of Guatemala. Mexico squeaks by Saudi Arabia, and Panama handles Honduras. And then we get back to the same Final Four for the Nations League. Canada can absolutely beat the United States. Now, they wouldn't be a first-time winner, as you said. They did win this competition, I think, in 2000.
Yep.
So they wouldn't be a first-time winner, but they can absolutely beat the United States and make a final. And then I would have Mexico being pretty heavy favorites against whoever they face in the semis. And again, I think it's likely that's Panama. So now then we get into a final. Even if the United States beats Canada, then we're back to the usual, which is USA Mexico in the final. But probably not going to get a first-time winner, Rob. Probably not.
I think it's pretty telling that there's only been 3 teams or 3 nations that have ever won this competition, and Canada only the once. So it's really a duopoly. And I really thought that for whatever reason, Costa Rica has had some good iterations of their team that have been really good and competitive. I'm surprised that they didn't get one somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
But they haven't. Through the group stages, though, was there any team that looks any stronger than the rest? Obviously, maybe like Mexico's an easy answer, but
but we're talking about very small edges. Look, Mexico, man for man, and sort of the relative strength that they could bring to this competition, has the strongest team. But what I mean is, Mexico has more of their first choice players than anybody else, and at a higher level than everybody. Canada has a lot of first choice guys, but Alfonso Davies is hurt. They're missing several players who might be starters, but they still have, David and Buchanan. Estaquio's away, or I guess now he's not, but was away at the Club World Cup. I think he's rostered, so Estaquio could arrive at some point, because Porto is now knocked out of the Club World Cup. So that probably means Estaquio could join them at this point. Anyway, my what I'm saying is that Canada is probably second on that list in terms of the relative strength, but they struggled a little bit. Again, that Curacao draw suggests there's something that can be done against Canada to slow them down. I'm not going to say anything about the United States, because that kind of brings the possibility of a jinx or something, and they haven't looked great at times, right? They snuck by Saudi Arabia. They snuck by Haiti on some level. So I can't put a lot of eggs in my U.S. basket at this point. And Panama probably deserves more respect. I just don't see them getting it done.
Yeah, Panama. How many wins in a row against the United States do they have? I guess 2.
I think it's 3, maybe. I think is it 3? Chat would know how many times the U.S. has lost to Panama recently. Yeah, they do seem to have our number, but luckily we wouldn't see Panama until a final if the United States managed to get past Costa Rica and Canada.
This is a little bit of a side note here. I do remember in Gold Cups past where the United States have brought in like a few new players following the group stage. Is that still a thing that is possible?
No, I don't believe that that's, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That is not the case here. I mentioned Stefan Eustachio maybe joining Canada because they put him on their roster. They put him on the team that they want, they put him on his name on the list. The United States did nothing of the kind. Pochettino wasn't messing around with that. There's no McKennie arriving late. There's no Weah arriving late, that kind of stuff. So it is still, it's going to be this team. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if there was like a run in pro wrestling style, Christian Pulisic? What would be his music style? Because Mike Thomas, who is an ultra, be like Mike Thomas.
I'm proud to be an American.
Okay. Oh, God. Yeah, you sure you don't want to go with Hulk Hogan's song, which is also very patriotic? No, his old school song, the Hulk Hogan. All right. Anyway,
all right, you'll have to sing out loud the Hulk Hogan song to remind me and all the viewers what that is.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I can't pull it, but it's in there somewhere. It's in the memory bank somewhere. But yeah, Mike says the Shabuzi Tipsy song.
Yep, that's his brand new
favorite song. I don't think we have a line on what kind of music Christian Pulisic listens to. Like, I don't think we have.
I have a feeling he's a guy that says, I listen to everything, and it's just literally whatever's on the radio. He doesn't pick it himself at all.
Maybe. You're saying he has no personal taste. He just goes with he just gets pushed along.
Or there might be something that someone else picked in the locker room where he's like, oh, that was kind of good, but he has no idea what it is.
I could see him being into trap somehow for some reason. I think
everyone under 25.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just so ubiquitous at this point. Anything trap. I cannot see him listening to Bad Bunny. I don't think I could see that. I don't know how much Spanish.
He doesn't have that kind of sauce. He's not.
I don't think so. I'm not gonna. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Since
the Shabuzi-less and Pulisic-less U.S. men's national team take on Costa Rica Sunday at 7.
Saturday. That game is Saturday. Is it not?
That's not according to
Sunday. It is Sunday. I'm sorry. My apologies. I had it in my head that was a Saturday game. You're right. It is a Sunday matchup for the United States. I think that there was some things to be determined going into the final group stage match. So Mexico will play Saturday against Saudi Arabia, and Panama will play Saturday against Honduras. Thank you, Rob, for correcting me.
And we'll have to hold on and hold on to the edge of our seats for Gold Cup to return at the weekend. 3 days without Gold Cup. What will we do, Jason?